Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to be looking at pickups and linked objects today, specifically about how to set up picking up keys to unlock doors. Now right now I have these two doors which are both unlocked, but we're going to make it so the red one is locked and can become unlocked and the green one will stay locked or will stay unlocked as we interact with the system. So first thing we need to do is make sure the door can be locked. So I'm going to come to this blueprint and we're going to open up the function that we have for this trigger, which is going to unlock the door. Inside of this, we're going to create a branch that will allow us to determine whether or not the door is locked or not. Now, we want to be able to control this, but we don't want to have to set this up for every single thing that can be unlocked. For example, we may want to unlock a chest or a door or a cellar or a car, right? And so we can create an unlock feature that will be able to be attached to anything that can be out there. This is where blueprint components come into play. So under our gameplay, I'm going to right click and we're going to go to blueprint class and I'm going to choose actor component. There's two different types of components here. A scene component is one that has location based information and an actor component is something that does not. So this is more abstracted. It does something but it isn't somewhere. And then this one is somewhere and could do something. So we're going to go with actor component and we're just going to call it BP lockable. Actually, we're going to call it BPC. That's the prefix for a component. So BPC lockable. In BPC lockable, I'm going to create a variable. We'll call that variable unlocked. The reason why we're using unlocked is that the default state for most booleans is true. And so we'll just leave this to true by default. And that means that any component we attach this to isn't going to lock until we tell it to. So in addition to that, we're going to add a function, and we're going to call that function unlock. So unlocked is a state. Unlock is an action. So as an action, what we're going to do is set the value of unlocked to be true. So if something is locked by default, then we will unlock it with this function. All right, with this in place, then I'm going to close down that component and I'm going to add it to my kinematic door. So I'm going to come up here and type BPC and I can make it lockable, and we're going to choose to have it be locked. So unlocked is false. Actually, we'll leave this true. We'll unlock it on the specific instance. And what we can do then is pull this out and get the locked value, get unlocked. And if unlocked is true, we'll open the door. And if not, what we'll do is we'll tell the player through the HUD that it's locked. Get player controller, get HUD, and then we can update objective here. So we'll use an update objective for, we'll say 2 seconds. It just says locked. So if the door isn't opened, then it'll say locked, and if it is, then it will open. So let's go test this out. Let's take the red door and change it so that it has the locked state. So unlocked off, now it is locked. So I should be able to go over to the green door just fine and have it open as usual. And the red door, I get the update, it says locked now. So the door will not open for me. So what we need now is a key. The key will help us to be able to unlock the door. So I'm going to create a new class. We're going to create a new blueprint class called actor BP key. We need some sort of representation for this key. So we're going to create something silly. We'll use a cone. And then for this cone, we can use our color picker color. This will allow us to add on different colors to potentially match doors if that's something we want to do. Let's make this a goldish key here. All right. So in this, we have the asset for the key. We're going to add a collider to this. So we'll add a sphere collision. It's one of the cheapest types of collisions we can add. And we'll call that our trigger. And for this, we need to make the trigger big enough to include the object. So it'll be a little generous. So if they get close, we'll say 100. So if they get within 100 and it's the player, then we should be able to collect this thing. So we're going to go over to our event graph and we're going to right click on our trigger, add an event, say begin overlap, and we'll cast to the player character. And if it is the player character, what we're going to do is we're going to set the value of some other class to be unlocked. So we need to get component or find component, and we're going to do that by name. We're going to take this from an actor. If we create a new variable and we're going to call this unlock target, and we just change this to actor, we'll go actor object reference, make that selectable by instance, and then we'll say component get component by class, and we're going to choose our BPC lockable class. So if it has a lockable class, then what we're going to do is going to unlock the door. There we go. So if it is a player, we're going to unlock the door, and then we are going to get rid of the actor. So the door hasn't done anything yet, and as far as the player is concerned, it's not unlocked. Obviously, if you have like a multiplayer game, you want to be a little bit more careful with how you're implementing this, but this is fairly remedial. With this key, then, we can target a specific actor, right? Let that unlock if it has the component, and then if it doesn't, then we'll do nothing. The door will remain locked. I don't need to do anything else with the door. What I need to do is place the objects into the world. So I have my key. I'll put the key out over here. And for that key, I will select the unlocked target. So I can choose from the list of any valid targets inside of the level. Or I can select an actor in the viewport. So that one. Or I can eyedropper an actor of the correct type. So with this set up now, this door does have the correct blueprint component, and it's set to unlock false. So when I come down here and I look at the lockable, unlock is false. So the green door opens because unlock is true, and so this key should, the unlock target here, grab the eyedropper and select the door. There we go. All right, so when I click play now, the door is locked. It says locked. I'll pick up my golden key here, and then the door opens. And so the object can be picked up. This is called a direct link. If you know that the object exists, you can assign this through the editor. If the object spawns later, what you'll probably do is use a manager or a delegate to be able to assign one object to the other. But this way, by listing an object directly, you can have a linked object that will reflect how the player can interact with certain types of things or how they interact with each other. For the pickups, we can go back and add a little bit of quality of life to this thing. In order to make this a little bit more notable for the player, I'm going to take this cone, and we can remove the trigger from the cone. I'm going to take the cone and just put it a little off axis, like that. And then we're going to add a rotating movement component here. And we're just going to do on the z-axis, if we go to simulate this, you can see it spinning like that. That's 180 degrees per second. So if we just do this something like 45 degrees on the z-axis, it'll rotate nice and slow for the player to see. And then we'll be able to include for the player the ability to collect that object. If we wanted to, we could add something like a magnetic pickup radius, and that way as the player got closer, it would zoom to the character, something we may do in a later video. But hopefully this gives you an idea of how to connect objects in the world, how to set up gates for progress, and how to allow the players to build components that will allow for content to be added to different pieces inside of the world without having to reinstitute that code on each piece. So hopefully it lets you go out there and mostly keep building.